Jazz started in New Orleans, Louisiana, where three different genres of music collided. Those were gospel from the Deep South, ragtime from St. Louis, up the river, the Mississippi River, and then downriver, the Delta Blues. Those three types of music coming together are what created New Orleans jazz. A major contributing factor to that was the fact that the area was populated by Creoles. And the music of New Orleans was Creole music. In other words, it was people who had European ancestry, but were also black or indigenous. The creators of the music were a bunch of black giants of their trade who weren't allowed to record for 5 years because of their color. When they did come out, America for the first time heard what the real music of jazz was. And those four men have gone down in the annals of history as the greats. They're Joe Oliver on cornet, Sidney Bechet on clarinet, Jelly Roll Morton on piano, and a guy by the name of Louis Armstrong. After a few years in New Orleans, those giants that I mentioned traveled north to Chicago. And the reason was very simple. New Orleans jazz didn't last very long. When Prohibition came up, without booze, there weren't many places to play. So those black musicians from New Orleans traveled north to Chicago, because in Chicago and Cleveland and Buffalo and Niagara Falls, liquor was readily available because of smuggling across the Great Lakes from Canada. And the music spread initially through the speakeasies that dotted the Great Lakes.
There was a very, very popular place called the Ontario House, and the Ontario House was a hub for jazz artists that would come all the way here to Niagara Falls. Artists such as Dizzy Gillespie actually came here to Niagara Falls. Anywhere you saw black communities being established, the music or the venues of music were always seen as anchor institutions within those communities that helped facilitate social economic change, that helped facilitate innovation, that also provided a space for entertainment away from the trauma that many of our ancestors were going through as it relates to segregation and many of the other different things that we were experiencing in society. If you really want to get a good sense of the heartbeat of the people during certain time periods, you listen to the music.